The fun stuff every single day starts off with birthdays for the day. And the day, the 11th, the 12th of October, that date's wrong in the fun stuff, unfortunately, is no exception. So, other than the date, it's all good. And we'll explain why there's a legal pad there in quite a bit in one more thing. But first, the birthdays with the real right date that's listed on the sheet. And this is October the 12th, starting off with Chris Wallace, the son of the legendary Mike Wallace, who invented the style of walking up on people and sticking mics in their faces and asking them hard questions they can't answer. Chris Wallace is 76 years old on the day. His second life, or maybe his third life, you could tell. I believe he started at ABC, moved to Fox, and now is at CNN, where he was supposed to be brought in to do the stuff on their digital side. That died literally as he came to work. Still doing the new podcast that they created for him as a podcast, and they're doing that to let him do more Larry King-like stuff and popping up for political coverage because he's got that knowledge. 76 years old today for Chris Wallace. Great work you're doing out there. Great work for Mr. Hugh Jackman. He's the greatest showman. He's Wolverine. You would not really suspect that he does so many versatile things that they picked, this show tunes type guy to be this dude with spiky hair with this bad growly attitude. You'll see Wolverine again, maybe for the last time as Hugh Jackman, or Hugh Jackman last time as Wolverine, in the upcoming Deadpool movie, with a lot of sort of innuendo on why he is in there and how it's going to work out. The metaverse is supposedly a whole lot of this, and they may bring back the no mouth Deadpool again, even though Ryan Reynolds technically killed him in the last Deadpool. Rambling too much. Hugh Jackman turning 54 years old today. And love to Kirk Cameron, even though he may not love us the way he used to love us. The Mike Seaver character, who turned into one of the main characters in the first iterations of the Left Behind movies from the books that were very popular about 20 years ago on Rapture stuff, even though Rapture stuff isn't quite covered the way it is in the books. 53 years old on the day. He is now a staunch conservative commentator, which is fine with that. You see him a lot on Fox News, Newsmax, places like that, giving his thoughts on things going on, and sometimes thoughts and prayers on things happening. We still have much love for Kirk Cameron, and the episode of Growing Pains where he is home from school sick, realizes that the same game shows are on whether he goes to school or not, and finds out that the world doesn't actually revolve around him. One of the pinnacle parts of Gen X life. Kirk Cameron still a pinnacle part of Gen X life. It's showing that Gen X is getting a little old these days. 53 years old on today. On our history lesson for this day, on this 12th of October, starting off in 1492, yes, Christopher Columbus' expedition made landfall in the Caribbean, specifically in the Bahamas. The explorer believed he had reached East Asia because he was going that way. He thought the world was round, and was right. The only problem was there was this big old landmass between him and Asia. So he got in the wrong spot. He thought the people were there who basically thought he was India, so he called the people Indians, and started a whole bunch of stuff. Now, this week was Columbus Day, or Monday was a day that Columbus Day was actually observed as a holiday. And because of many reasons that we don't need to go into here, you probably already figured out, we don't celebrate Columbus Day as we did, or in most cases. Yes, it's still the day out for many folks, but it's been sort of usurped as Indigenous Peoples Day or Native Americans Day, as people who were kind of already here are trying to take it back. Quick question, quick sidebar. My very good friend had a birthday because his birthday is always on Columbus Day. And one time back when she was in middle school, she asked her teacher, "Hey, Columbus Day is coming up. Can we have a party?" And then the teacher informed her that Columbus was a pillager and raper and, killed people and did bad stuff when he came here. And she asked, "Well, can we still have a party?" And so when Columbus Day comes around, I think of partying with Tisha. So happy birthday to you, Tisha. Get your party on. Now she is moving on into her 30s, which makes me feel even older as well. But on this day in 1492, long way to get there, Christopher Columbus made his landfall in the Americas, although he thought he was in the Indias. In 1901, President Theodore Roosevelt officially renamed the Executive Mansion to the White House. So it was never always called the White House. It probably wasn't always white, to be honest, but the official name White House happened in 1901. Happy birthday to that name. And in 1997, singer John Denver was killed at age 52 in the crash of his privately built aircraft in Monterey Bay, California. Very sad day. A lot of people remember that. John Denver, for many people at that time, transitioning out of his role as a country folk star into an actor, of course, starring in Oh God, I believe. It's been a while since I was a kid, so I think it was Oh God was there. Starting to do more things on that end and transitioning into a bigger role, if you will, outside of the music role. Died on this day in 1997. On October 12th, we celebrate Gumbo Day. Now, Gumbo Day seems a little early for gumbo in the day, but October is sweater weather. October is soup weather, and people are bringing up all their soup recipes on the Facebook. So why not drop in some gumbo? Officially, Gumbo Day is on the day starting on October the 12th, every single day. So today may not be the day to necessarily make that big pot of gumbo, but go ahead and start gathering your stuff for your gumbo. Now, let's go deeper into the history of gumbo, or the thought process of gumbo, if you will. Originating in southern Louisiana during the 18th century, gumbo typically consists of strongly flavored stock with meat or shellfish, a thickener and seasoned vegetables. The seasoned vegetables may include celery, bell pepper, onions. In Cajun cuisine, the trio is known as the Holy Trinity, of course, and most people serve gumbo over rice. Gumbo also falls into a different category based on following types of thickener used. So how you make your gumbo makes a different type of gumbo. If you use okra, the African vegetable okra, which was bred over from slaves to Louisiana in that area, which is why a lot of okra is used down there. Choctaw spice filet powder, which is dried and ground sassafras leaves. Those came from, of course, the Choctaw Indians. And the roux, which is a French base made of flour and fat. So how you thicken your okra makes a difference. Most people more or less do a roux. That's kind of like the standard thing, and throw okra in there to help thicken as well. The filet is a different way to do that. I do a roux. I do a very horrible roux. And so please don't laugh at my roux next time we make gumbo. Actually, I found a fake gumbo recipe that I can just throw stuff in the pot and just boil it and kind of go with it. A tomato-based gumbo recipe. We may use that coming up in the next couple of weeks. And finally, one more thing you might not have heard for today. The Legal Pad is 135 years old this year. Happy birthday, Legal Pad. The company called American Pad and Paper Company, or AMPAD, claims to have invented Legal Pad in 1888. A young inventor named Thomas Holy made the tablets from cheap leftovers or sortings from the paper mills. The scribbling professionals quickly adopted this low-cost line pads, and the Legal Pad was born. What about the iconic yellow pad, you say? The one story is that it was devised specifically because yellow was thought to be the color that stimulated intellect. Though hard to verify, dark text on a light background is generally considered optimal for reading. Yellow tends to be easier on the eyes than Hart's white background, a fact that 3M took to heart when they invented the post-it notes. So we get a 3 for on the day. The birth of the Legal Pad, the myth or history of why it's yellow, and a little bit about why your 3M made post-it notes, although I buy the cheap ones, by the way, have their color.